The Disney stock drop is still the talk of Tinseltown, and Bob Iger seems unable to turn things around. So what's going to go down? Well, folks, beyond the stock, there's now pressure on Disney to drop everything woke, and it's no joke. Today, we'll show you what's being said and how Bob Iger, if he does not, just might be a CEO whose career is dead.
Grew up watching, all of the classics. They have been a huge, informative part of my life. But at the same time, I worked at small studios most of my career, and I'd heard, hear whispers. I'd heard things like, they won't let you show this at a Disney show. And I'm like, okay. So I was a little, sus when I started. But then my experience was bafflingly the opposite of what I had heard. On my little pocket of, Proud Family Disney TVA, the showrunners were super welcoming. Meredith Roberts and our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda. And so I feel I felt it was, maybe it was that way in the past. I guess something must have happened in the last they were turning it around, they're going hard. And then all that momentum that I felt, that sense of I don't have to be afraid to let's have these two characters kiss, let's in the background I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness to if you see anything queer in the show, I'm proud of it. But I just was no one would stop me, and no one was trying, just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness to if you see anything queer in the show, I'm proud of it. But I just was no one would stop me, and no one was trying, just.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, the place that explains entertainment, keeps you ahead of the culture curve, and you all continue to drive the viewership and the subscriptions higher and higher. You all are the gigawatts, and we constantly have an attitude of gratitude for each and every one of you. Folks, as we dive into today's content, consider clicking the like button, and here we go. Take a look at this. This is the current stock just prior to the release of this video, hovering, tickling $86. That's a slight increase of about 10 cents over where the Disney stock had dropped to yesterday, which, by the way, was $85.96. We don't know where it will end today, and we're not here to give you any kind of financial advice. But what we would point to you is that clearly the stock, having dropped from just April at $122, almost $123, that was back when Nelson Peltz was trying to get on the board of Disney and bring a pal along with him. And when Disney blocked him from getting on the board, guess what? They jumped overboard, and this stock has been dropping ever since. Now, early this morning, we covered the story that there is an interview with Gina Carano that suggests that perhaps there is an effort underway to drop the Disney stock, and maybe Elon Musk might be interested in a hostile takeover. Now, one of the things that we tried to clarify in that video is it really doesn't even have to be Elon Musk. The lower the stock drops, the more opportunity there is for billionaires, zillionaires, and those big-time movers and shakers across the globe to get in and influence Disney. When the stock is high, Bob Iger is high on his powers. When it's low, there's no telling where the House of Mouse might go. It doesn't have to be Elon, although Elon is clearly the number one when it comes to possibilities of people stepping in to make a big change. Now, as Bob Iger loses influence, because Bob Iger's ability to control the ship of Disney is well correlated to the value of the company. He makes the value go up, everybody looks up to Bob. He makes it go down, they begin to frown. Well, Bob Iger now is facing a town that is unhappy with him. This is an article out of the Federalist. It's by Tyler Hummel, and it's a very recent article. It says, Disney is finally learning when it goes woke, it goes broke. Now, many of you out there have said, there's no way that Disney will drop divisive family content. Have you seen the new iteration of the Proud Family? And yes, I have. And I have also seen how things are performing on Disney Plus and at the box office when Disney goes woke. It is a joke in the marketplace. Folks do not want this. They especially don't want it when it is aimed at their children. None of these parents, even if they are out of blue states and they consider themselves to be the far leftists that they wish to be, even they do not want to explain to their children some of these issues as they ride in the car from the movie theater. They want to have the opportunity to disclose it to them, not Disney. Well, folks, we're here to tell you that as that stock continues to drop, and perhaps it will go back up, perhaps it won't, but as that continues, Disney is going to be under tremendous pressure to do what works. Let's read the article and we'll explain. When Disney goes woke, it goes broke. When it remembers its audience, however, it succeeds. It has been a good few weeks for the Walt Disney Company. Its two most recent films are history-setting box office successes. Pause for a moment, folks. I just want to say that it was a good week for Disney in the most publicly available ways. The most visible ways, such as the box office. However, if you've been paying close attention to the theme parks, such as we have here, and thus you have, if you've been paying attention to this channel, then you have known that Disney, which is, by the way, primarily a theme park business, was in no good place indeed. The company that has spent years hemorrhaging money may be seeing a light at the end of the tunnel if it takes the right lessons away from its success. Last week, Disney announced that its recently released animated film, Inside Out 2, had overtaken Frozen 2 as the highest grossing animated film in history, globally crossing $1.46 billion since its premiere on June 14th. Now, I would like to quibble with this and say that all comes down to a category error. Disney refuses to put the CGI Lion King into the animated movie box. Were it to do so, the Chinese box office lifts it to number one, but that's a small quibble. On Sunday, July 28th, the most recent Marvel Cinematic Universe entry, Deadpool and Wolverine, became the sixth highest grossing opening weekend of all time, grossing $438 million worldwide in 3 days. It has also been well received with a 46% positive audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Here on this channel, we gave it an 8.4 out of 10, and I may have liked it even better than that. This is good news for a company that has suffered a challenging few years. The company ousted its CEO, Bob Chapek, in November of 2022. Folks, let's go back for just a moment. I want to show you this. Back to the Disney stock. If we go back to November of 2022, that means we go to the 5-year. If we go back to November of 2022, where was the stock? Well, the stock in November of 2022 was somewhere around $99, $95. In other words, slightly better than where it is today. But that's not the full story. For you see, folks, there was a campaign to get rid of Bob Chapek. And back when that campaign started, which was in February of 2022, that is when the Florida legislation happened. That is when the trap was set for Chapek, and they began to make those efforts. Oh, by the way, don't forget about the Gina Carano situation, sprung on the House of Mouse by Kathleen Kennedy. All of that was designed to drive this down and get rid of Bob Chapek. The belief was, and remember, back then the stock was way up in the mid 100s. The belief was that Bob Iger, on his return, would be able to return the stock right back on up and no problem. The problem now is he has been unable to do so badly. Just a quick reminder of that. I want people to understand. Bob Iger, who quickly announced a slate of sequels, layoffs, and cost-cutting endeavors. The company was subsequently beset by a poor year of box office returns. 7 of Disney's major 2023 releases, including Wish, Elemental, The Little Mermaid, The Haunted Mansion, Indiana Jones 5, The Marvels, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, underperformed at the box office. Yeah, that'll do it. That's a real good list. We like that list. Overall, however, this year has shown good signs for the Disney Corporation. Goes on to talk about FX, talks about some of the other things that are happening, and we agree for the most part that those things are positives. Commenters have noted that Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine marked a noted departure from the implicit wokeness of many of Disney's box office bombs. Deadpool and Wolverine, which grossed more in its opening weekend than the Marvels, did it in its entire theatrical run. Which grossed more in its opening than Marvels did in its entire theatrical run. That's how we should say it. I stumbled and bumbled through that one, eh? Makes fun of cancel culture, feminism, and wokeness, and it does. Deadpool and Wolverine is decidedly anti-woke, folks. Take note. Inside Out 2 similarly avoided woke tropes, with film critic Christian Toto, who's been on the show, by the way, we need to get him back sometime, arguing that the film presents a conservative path forward from a bean counter perspective. Worth It or Woke similarly reported, even though you can feel how badly it wants to be, it's not a woke mess. And you can definitely tell that it is written from people who are woke, but who are being prevented from crossing that line that would drive the bottom line down into the bowels of Disney's hell. This evolution would track with Iger's November 2022 CNBC interview, talks about that, talks about Moana 2, Mufasa, Agatha All Along. Oh, no, let's take that out. Captain America, Brave. No, take that out too. Oh, good grief. Folks, next year's not good for Disney, but this year has been better. This year has been a beacon for the House of Mouse because they've seen that if they don't go woke, they make a ton of money. And if they go woke, they go broke. The delta between these two paths is drastic. It's not as if going woke costs you $100 million. It's not as if putting divisive DEI entertainment into the minds of children costs you $200 or even $300 million. We're talking about billion-dollar differences for every single movie, whether it is divisive and woke or whether it is universal and in the middle. There's no chance Disney's going to go conservative, but Disney could go to the sensible center, the mainstream middle, where money is made. And when they stray into that far left position, they make nothing. They lose. They lose, sir. This doesn't mean Disney still isn't in hot water. Well, this article, by the way, was written slightly before people found out just how bad the parks were doing, which we've been reporting right here for the past, since probably late April. But it goes on to talk about all this. It talks about Ike Perlmutter having liquidated his stock. And by the way, he liquidated high. How's that going, by the way? All those people who mocked Ike Perlmutter and Nelson Peltz, they got out at about $1.20, right? When the stock was about $120 a share, they got out. Sold it all. And now it's down about 80. And they're saying they'll buy back in, at least Perlmutter is, when it's 65 to 75. Seems like they know what they're doing. Goes on to talk about the company still caught in significant culture war issues. On July 24th, U.S. District Judge Sherilyn Peace Garnett denied a motion from the Disney Corporation that would have dismissed a defamation lawsuit from The Mandalorian star Gina Carano, meaning that the Elon Musk-backed free speech lawsuit could make it to trial. And indeed, Disney faced that major denial from the judicial system. Acolyte was a bomb, absolutely. Disney's newest upcoming series, Star Wars Skeleton Crew, continues to show signs of troubled development. It goes through all this. And essentially what Tyler is saying here, and great job on this, Tyler, great job, is that Disney now has the proof for the investors that if they will simply stop going to the far left positions in their entertainment, specifically those aimed at kids, but not limited to that, if they will stop and if they will go back to the center, they will make tons of money. Investors now know it. Now Disney must show it, that they understand, that they will correct. Why? Because this is no good for Disney. Take a look, folks. As we speak, 8612 is the current number. Now, of course, this was recorded a few minutes before release. 8601, cancel that. So I don't know what it is when you're watching this video, and I'm not giving you any kind of financial advice. Please don't buy, sell, or do anything based on this video. I don't want you to do that. Go seek out your own expert in this area. I'm not that person for you. That said, investors are looking at a near 5-year low for this, and it could go even lower. And they are saying, with great strength and fortitude to Disney, we need to get back to making money. We need to get rid of that which prevents it. And now, folks, having had a few examples of exactly what it is that's stopping Disney from winning, they know exactly what they must do to get investors back to grinning. All right, folks, that is the video for this afternoon. This evening, we're going to be talking about Bob Iger, now in deposition, giving his sworn testimony for discovery in a case that involves an antitrust lawsuit regarding that crazy sports JV they got involved in. That was used, by the way, to pump up the stock and keep Nelson Peltz from getting on the board. That was back around, March 28th of 2024. Well, it turns out that thing is not going to be anything worth having. And instead, all it's done is put Disney into a major legal issue and maybe even poor standing. We'll find out, folks. But what a terrible idea. Disney threw so much on the wall to try to stop Nelson Peltz. And we told you that they were doing that and it was going to cost them big time, that they just might fall on the other side. Terrible to see it happening, but that is what we predicted, and it is what is occurring. Folks, something we wish would occur is for you to go from being a passive viewer to an active engager in the content. Consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts on this topic. And, well, we're very interested because it's always a contentious matter. Do you believe that Disney is ready to get away from woke, or do you think that they are intrinsically, imperatively devoted, like the ideologues we believe they might be? The cultists of Burbank, perhaps. Do you believe that they will never change, no matter what? If that's the case, I have a feeling that it won't be long before a hostile takeover does happen. But again, no financial advice here. All right, folks, we're going to see you real soon. We hope you have a great day, and we hope you are making the world better in each and every way possible. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Wilton, what are you doing?
Well, word on the street is the culture war has officially made it to the doorstep of that park place. And I realized Jonas has no one there who loves him. So I thought I should go and protect them.
Yeah, okay. You know that's not, how you do this, right?
Do what? Fight? Don't worry, Floral. I will not be intimidated by a criminal threat.
Threat? Wilton, don't be ridiculous.
What does it matter to me? I have only one life to lose.
I mean, I totally expected you to die walking into traffic, but,
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Okay, just stop. This is just nonsense. You already have one of the easiest and most effective tools and weapons at your fingertips.
My axe?
No. The truth. Stay smart and ready to tell and share the truth by keeping up to date with WDW Pro, that park place, as well as Valiant Renegade.
And Jonas? I mean, he does things with Vash, and that's not very reassuring. That's like putting two helpless chipmunks into a piranha pond.
That's neither true nor accurate. Unlike the team from that park place.
Sue me.
Ugh.